Are you too humble for your own good? That false humility, my dear, is costing you your blessings. You were never meant to shrink in the face of your divine inheritance. I said it then, and I say it now. You are not asking for enough. Not nearly enough. Most people live their lives negotiating with fear, not declaring with faith. They tiptoe around their own power. But the law does not reward hesitation. The law responds to spiritual audacity, bold faith, fearless demand, and unwavering expectancy. You are the child of the Most High. Do you think you were meant for crumbs? You were designed for divine abundance. Stop waiting for someone to approve of your dreams. Stop asking the world for permission. The world does not run the show, Spirit does. And Spirit is within you. It is time to rise. It is time to speak. It is time to demand your good. Let me ask you, what would you ask for if you truly believed nothing could block what was divinely yours? What would you decree if you knew the universe was listening and moving to bring it into form? That is the heart of the spiritual audacity challenge. For the next 3 days, I am challenging you to stop playing small, to stop shrinking, to stop bargaining with fear. This is not a suggestion. This is a spiritual game. And in this game, you must be bold. You must command, not beg. You must demand, not wish. You must declare with faith, not plead with doubt. Let me remind you, the word is your wand. And most people are waving that wand in fear, casting spells of lack, limitation, and loss. I can't afford it. That's too big for me. Maybe one day. These are not harmless phrases. They are commands. Every word you speak is a decree. Every sentence is a prophecy. And most are prophesying struggle. But not you, not anymore. You will not speak fear and expect faith. You will not whisper lack and expect wealth. Today you will take the first step in reclaiming your power. Day 1 of the challenge. The what you really want decree. Now, don't just think of something reasonable. I want you to get audacious. I want you to write down a financial goal that makes you tremble. Not because it's impossible, but because it's finally true. I want you to say, I now receive me with ease, grace, and joy. It is mine by divine right. And speak it out loud. Speak it boldly. Speak it as if it has already come. Do not say, I hope. Say, I know. Do not say, maybe. Absolutely. Remember my words. You must act as if you had already received. Not think. Not wish. Act. That is the law. Now here's where most people fall off. They loop back to doubt. They think bold for a moment, then let fear seep in. Not you. You will loop back to truth, again and again and again. When the fear says, it's too big, you say, divine supply knows no limits. When the doubt says, who do you think you are? You say, I am a spiritual being, claiming what's already mine. Every time fear loops, you loop louder in faith. That's the game. Let's connect this to something deeper. Why do you think you're afraid to ask big? Because somewhere in your life, someone told it was selfish. Someone said, don't get your hopes up. Someone taught you that suffering is holy, that poverty is pious, that playing small is righteous. But they were wrong. There is nothing divine about lack. There is no virtue in limitation. Spirit wants you free. Spirit wants you full. Spirit wants you radiant. Not so you can boast, but so you can bless. Because when you rise, others rise. When you shine, others see what's possible. You playing small doesn't protect anyone. It just hides your light, and that light, that's not yours to dim. It was placed in you for a reason. So let's loop this truth again. You were born to express abundance. Not hoard it. Not fear it, but flow in it, circulate it, live through it. Spiritual audacity is not arrogance. It is alignment. It is not pride. It is power remembered. It is the moment you stop shrinking your requests and start standing in the knowing that what you seek is already seeking you. Not later. Not someday. Now. And so I challenge you, right now, to declare that big, bold, beautiful desire. Write it. Speak it. Feel it. Do not write what you think is possible. Write what calls to you. Write what makes your chest swell and your eyes sting with joy. Because that's the real you. The you that remembers. The you that trusts. The you that knows. Tomorrow we will move into day 2. The act as if ritual. But today let this loop again and again in your spiriting. I am no longer afraid to want what I want. I do not dim my light. I do not hide my dreams. I do not settle. I am bold. I am expectant. I am worthy. What I desire is already mine by divine right, and it comes to me with speed, ease, and grace. I walk in faith. I speak in power. I live in alignment. The law works for me, now. And here is your final task for today. Tag a friend. Share this. Say it out loud. I'm in the Spiritual Audacity Challenge. Use the hashtag Spiritual Audacity. Make this your declaration to the world and to spirit. You are not playing small anymore. Because, darling, you were never meant to. And so I say to you, as one who has watched countless lives transform under the power of the spoken word. It is no longer time to whisper your dreams quietly into the dark. It is time to declare them boldly into the light. Day 2 of the Spiritual Audacity Challenge is not about waiting for signs or circumstances to align before you step into the energy of your desire. No, it is about acting as if. Walking, speaking, and breathing as though what you desire has already arrived, for that is how you draw it closer. This is not arrogance, my dear. This is divine alignment. This is obedience to spiritual law. When you act as if you already possess what you have spoken, you are demonstrating faith, and faith backed by action becomes the open door to the invisible supply. The truth is, the universe responds not to desperation but to decision, and the moment you decide that your good is already yours, the game shifts in your favor. Many will say, "But Florence, I cannot pretend. I do not yet have the money, the opportunity, the health." And I say, pretending is not falsehood, it is prophecy. It is not lying to act as if your dream has arrived. It is living into the vibration of your word. Do you not understand that the spoken word is the wand that shapes your world? To speak is to command. To act is to confirm. And to align both is to become a magnet for miracles. So I ask you, what would you do today if the thing you have asked for was already in your possession? Would you walk differently? Would you dress differently? Would you answer the phone with a new tone, a new confidence? Would you research the cost of that dream home, not because you can afford it today, but because you know it is on the way? Would you write the first paragraph that book, start designing that business logo, stand a little taller in that job interview? Well, my dear, do it today. That small act, however insignificant it seems to the rational mind, is a spiritual seed, and spiritual seeds never die. They grow, they multiply, they surprise. There is divine electricity in aligned action. It is how you signal to the universe, "I believe. I am ready." And let me be clear, this is not about pretending with fear in your heart. No, this is about becoming a vibrational match for your answered prayer. When you wear confidence like a garment, even if it feels unfamiliar, you begin to vibrate at the level of your miracle. The law does not require time, only alignment. And alignment begins with one bold, audacious act that says, "I am not waiting, I am walking." Walk as if the door is already open, and you will find it so. I have said before, and I will say again, the walls of limitation crumble not from force, but from faith. One aligned action shatters 1,000 doubts. And I know some of you are still thinking, but what if I act and nothing happens? And to that I say, something always happens. The moment you act in faith, you set spiritual law into motion. You may not see it immediately, but beneath the surface, shifts are occurring. The right people are being moved. The perfect opportunity is being prepared. The way is being made ready. The delay is not denial, it is divine choreography. So act anyway, walk anyway, speak anyway. For the one who refuses to wait is the one who wins. You do not beg for what is already yours. You claim it. And when you claim it with action, the heavens respond. The vibration of certainty is irresistible to the divine. It cannot be ignored, and it will not return empty. So let today be the day you move from wishing to walking. Let today be the day your actions rise to meet your words. Let today be the day you refuse to shrink. The universe is not moved by how much you hope. It is moved by how much you believe, and belief always carries behavior. If you believe it, show it. If you trust it, live it. If you desire it, move toward it. Every great thing that has ever been manifested began with one bold, seemingly small act. So do not despise your small steps. They are sacred, they are seeds, and they are signals. The moment you take one, the universe takes 10. The divine supply rushes toward movement. The river flows not to the stagnant but to the surrendered. So move, my dear. Move with audacity, move with faith. Move with fire in your belly and knowing in your bones. The world is changed not by the loudest voice but by the clearest action. So let your life speak. Let your faith show. Let your audacity become your anthem. And remember, the Spiritual Audacity Challenge is not about ego. It is about alignment. It is not about pretending to be something you're not. It is about daring to be everything you were born to be. There is no virtue in playing small. There is no nobility in denial of your divine inheritance. You are not a beggar at the gates of heaven. You are an heir to the kingdom. Speak like it. Walk like it. Live like it. And so today, your challenge is simply choose one act, one small act that aligns with the big dream you wrote down yesterday. Do it with joy. Do it with power. Do it without waiting for permission. And then declare to the universe, "I have acted. Now it is your turn." That is spiritual audacity, to move with expectation. And let me remind you again, in case you have forgotten, the word is the wand, and the action is the agreement. When they are joined, the game changes. When they are aligned, the gate opens. When they are united, the impossible becomes inevitable. So go forth, bold one. Your miracle is waiting on the other side of your motion. Your abundance is waiting for your audacity. Your answered prayer is waiting for your proof of belief. And if you stumble, if you hesitate, if the old fears try to whisper again, return to the decree. What is mine by divine right is rushing to me now, and I move toward it without delay. Say it, walk it, believe it, and you will become it. So here we are, day 3 of the Spiritual Audacity Challenge, and this, dear soul, is where most people hesitate. This is the paradox. The moment the world calls illogical, but the universe calls law. Giving when you feel you have little. Releasing when everything in you wants to grip tightly. And yet, it is in this moment, this third step, that the entire game of life bends toward your favor. Because this is where you move from timid intention to fearless faith, and the law responds only to faith. Never fear, only faith. Did I ask you not to calculate or contemplate but to activate? You see, the spiritual path is not passive. It is precise. It is bold. You must give as if you already have. That is how you open the floodgates. Give when it seems irrational. Give when the balance looks low. Give when logic screams, no, but your soul whispers, trust. And what do you give? You give what you have. If it's $1, it's divine. If it's a kind word, it's sacred. If it's a moment of help, it's holy. But the giving must be with full belief, not sacrifice but circulation, not from lack but from law. You are circulating what is yours by divine right. So I tell you now what many won't dare say. If you want to receive beyond what you've imagined, you must give with an audacity that scares your old self. That small self. That self that says, but what if I need this? The truth is, you don't need to hoard, you need to harmonize. Your giving is your claiming. Your generosity is your announcement to the universe. I live under divine law, not man's fear. And divine law answers immediately. Let me ask you this, when was the last time you gave with no attachment to the outcome? When was the last time you gave not to get, but simply to agree with abundance? That is what this day is about. To live in alignment with the knowing that the supply is infinite, and so is your share of it. But here's the loop, the beautiful twist. Every time you give, you prove to your subconscious that you trust the law. And every time you trust the law returns your faith multiplied. You cannot outgive God. You cannot outgive good. What you send forth returns to you pressed down, shaken together, and running over. But only when it is sent in faith, fear, not force, not strategy, but faith, bold, radical spiritual audacity. And this is where the real winners of the game stand apart. They don't just visualize. They act. They don't just ask. They align. They don't just hope, they harmonize. And today you join them. So, I ask you, what can you give today, not because you're desperate, but because you're devoted? What can you release today, not because you're afraid, but because you're aligned? What act of giving can you offer? Not because you're supposed to, but because you are sure. That's the energy that rewrites destinies. That's the vibration that transforms circumstances. That's the frequency where miracles live. You are not small. You are not forgotten. You are not late. You are right on time for your breakthrough. But the door opens when you move. This is not just inspiration, it is instruction. You are here to demand your divine good. You are not begging. You are not bargaining. You are boldly stepping into the rhythm of your inheritance. You were never meant to shrink into what's reasonable. You were born to live in what's righteous. And what's righteous is rightfully yours. Let us loop back, as we do with all truth, because repetition seals revelation. Day 1, you wrote down what you really want, without apology. Day 2, you acted as if it were already yours, without delay. And now day 3, you give from the vibration of already having it. Can you see the pattern? Thought, action, circulation. That is the holy trilogy of manifestation. That is the game of life played at mastery level. Not just hoping, not just wishing, but knowing, moving, giving. And now I challenge you, not someday, but today. Give something, anything. $1, a blessing, a sandwich, a prayer, a word. Give it from your soul and say aloud, I give, knowing it returns multiplied. And then release it. No checking, just faith. That's the level of trust that shifts timelines. That's the power that parts oceans. That's the energy that opens the heavens. If it feels scary, good. You're growing. If it feels big, better. You're expanding. If it feels absurd, perfect. You're aligning with the miraculous. That's what spiritual audacity looks like. And let me tell you, once you taste it, you'll never go back to begging again. You'll never settle for scraps. You'll never accept delay as destiny, because you'll know, deep in your bones, that the supply is not only available, it is eager, and your boldness is the signal that releases it. So I say to you now, child of the Most High, stop playing small. The universe isn't impressed by humility that hides. It is moved by faith that dares. So give today like someone who knows who they are. Give like someone who trusts the source. Give like someone who's already won. Because in truth, you have. This is not a gamble. It's a guarantee. And your act of giving is your proof. As we close this challenge, remember this isn't an end. It's an entry into a new way of being, a new rhythm of life, a new conversation with the universe. You are not here to guess or grovel. You are here to claim and create. The door is open. The code is known. The law is ready. But it only moves when you do. And now my final charge to you: live audaciously. Love fearlessly. Give generously. You are divinely equipped, spiritually backed, eternally sourced. And you were never meant to shrink in silence when you could soar in faith. This is your challenge. This is your moment. This is your game. Are you ready? Then begin. So here we are, stepping into day 4, and by now, you're beginning to feel something shift, aren't you? That inner stirring, that holy dissatisfaction with the ordinary, that soul-level whisper that says, you were meant for more. And let me tell you something bold, something sacred. That whisper is not imagination, it is divine instruction. It's the voice of God pressing through the noise of the world to say, child, I have more for you. But the question remains, are you bold enough to take it? Are you spiritually audacious enough to stop asking for crumbs and start claiming your full portion? Because in the realm of spirit, modesty is not a virtue, clarity and confidence are. There is no room for false humility in divine mathematics. The infinite does not shrink itself to accommodate your fears. If the universe is built on law, and it is, then know this: a spiritual law responds not to pleading but to knowing, not to hope but to conviction, not to fear but to faith wrapped in bold action. So today's challenge is simple, and yet it's everything. You are going to speak out loud, with fire in your voice and certainty in your soul, the one thing you thought was too big to ask for. Yes, that one. The house, the soulmate, the mission, the platform, the abundance beyond logic. Whatever you think is too much, that is exactly where you must go. That's where the gold is buried. Because audacity is the signal, the divine signature, that tells the universe you are finally awake. And I mean really awake, not just spiritually informed, but spiritually engaged. The difference between the two is everything. You can read all the books and recite all the affirmations, but if you cannot claim it with boldness, you are still sitting in the stands of life instead of playing the game. So declare it now: I dare to ask for the full measure of my good. I release smallness. I reject scarcity. I receive abundance with grace and joy. Say it until your fear shrinks and your faith expands. Say it until your energy rises. Say it until heaven hears you and starts moving the pieces in your favor. And then, here's the loop. Tomorrow you will act again. Because one bold moment is powerful, but consistency is the rhythm that opens doors. Your voice is your wand, your faith is your strategy, your actions are your proof. So speak it, believe it, move in it, and watch what happens. The law is always listening, waiting, responding. When you dare to rise in spiritual audacity, you do not beg the world, you instruct it. You command light where there was once shadow. You speak wealth into what looked like lack. You call in miracles where logic saw limits. And here's the sacred truth: you don't need permission to be powerful. You only need to stop doubting that you already are. The kingdom responds to certainty. Not arrogance, but divine certainty. The kind that says, if it is mine by divine right, it cannot be taken, delayed, or denied. And remember, your boldness is not selfish. Your increase uplifts others. Your rising inspires courage in someone else. When you walk boldly in your calling, you make it safe for others to walk in theirs. So this is your chime. This is your challenge. This is your awakening. Ready for more? Then get ready for day 5. Because if you think we've gone deep, just wait until you see what happens when you give with the same boldness you've asked with. The universe doesn't just echo your actions. It multiplies them. So here we are. If you've come this far, I want to pause and honor your spirit. You are not here by accident. You've made a decision, perhaps quietly, perhaps boldly, but a decision nonetheless. To no longer play small with your destiny. You've taken the challenge. You've declared your right to something audacious, something unrealistic, something divine. That in itself is a radical act of faith. Because the world will tell you to stay quiet, stay safe, stay realistic. But the divine doesn't speak in whispers of fear. It speaks in the thunder of bold truth. The truth that your good is not only possible, it is inevitable, if you have the audacity to claim it. And now, day 5 unfolds before you, not as a routine step, but as a turning point. This is where you shift from thinking about your dream to living inside it. This is the place where you no longer treat your desires like distant hopes. You treat them like guaranteed destinations. You stop knocking on the door of possibility, and you kick it open with sacred confidence. You walk in like you belong. Because you do. That is the energy of spiritual audacity. Let's speak clearly. You were never meant to beg life for crumbs. You were meant to command blessings. You were not created to tiptoe around your good. You were designed to rise in its full measure. Every hesitation is a lie taught by fear. And every time you ignore the lie and speak the truth, that is power, that is alignment, that is divine authority in motion. So today, I want you to engage with this truth as if it were oxygen. Breathe it in, walk with it, speak from it, live it. Because the truth is, spiritual audacity is not arrogance, it is obedience. Obedience to your divine design. You are not here to please people. You are here to please God, and God delights when His children stop hiding and start shining. Yes, you shine gloriously, fearlessly, without apology. Repeat after me now, slowly. What is mine by divine right now comes to me in perfect ways, under grace, in perfect timing. Say it again and again. Loop it into your bones. Let it echo through every corridor of doubt until your faith becomes louder than your fear. That is how we rewire reality. Not by forcing life, but by aligning with truth. You see, we are not waiting on the world to change. We are changing how we show up in the world. That is the secret. That is the key. You're not reacting to life anymore. You're creating it. You're declaring it. You're setting the terms. You are now the cause, not the effect. You are the voice of spiritual intention, and the universe must respond. It has no choice. Because your word is law in your world. Florence said it then, and I say it again now. Your word is your wand. So today, ask again, but ask bigger. Write down the version of your life that make your hands tremble, because it feels too big. That's the one that belongs to you. You wouldn't even be able to imagine it if it wasn't divinely coded in your destiny. That dream is not random. That goal is not ego. That desire is not delusion. It is your spirit remembering who you really are. And when you write it down, don't write from fear. Write from command. Don't say, I hope, I claim. Don't say, maybe someday. Say, now is the perfect time. Your word activates your world. So be precise, be powerful. Be deliberate, because your pen, guided by divine faith, is crafting your next reality, and God is listening. Now I want you to take one step today. Just one, but do it with the energy of completion. Don't try decide. Don't walk. Don't wonder. No, your good is not pending. Your good is present, but it requires your participation. The universe mirrors your belief, not your wish. So believe out loud. Act as if, think as if, move as if. That is how you collapse time. That is how you speed the blessing. That is how miracles are made routine. Let me tell you a truth I've lived in. Giving is a secret door to receiving. The moment you give, especially when it stretches you, you open the floodgates for multiplication. So today, be generous, be bold, give something away. Time, energy, a smile, a dollar. Give, not out of guilt, but out of spiritual intelligence. Because every act of giving is a declaration. I live in overflow. Even if your physical eyes say otherwise, your spiritual truth knows the abundance is already there. So give like someone who lacks nothing. And loop this thought of, I am not asking for more. I am aligning with what is already mine. Over and over. I am not trying. I am trusting. I am not chasing. I am choosing. I am not begging. I am belonging. Speak these truths until they are the only soundtrack in your mind. Because here is the paradox that sets you free. You don't have to earn your good. You have to accept it. And accepting it takes boldness. It takes spiritual audacity. So if you've ever been told you're too much, too intense, too unrealistic, good, that means you're in the right energy. God never made you to be average. So stop negotiating with your fear and start commanding from your faith. Today is not about doing more. It's about being more. Being the version of you who knows she is already provided for. Already chosen. Already equipped. Already victorious. And the way to access her is to stop delaying your light. Stop playing small so others feel comfortable. Stop shrinking your dream to fit into someone else's limitations. You are the light, not the dimmer switch. And here comes the loop again. The size of your desire is the size of your capacity. You would not want it if you couldn't handle it. You would not crave it if it weren't aligned. Desire is divine design in motion. It's not greed, it's guidance, so follow it boldly. So my challenge to you today is step out in such a bold, audacious way that your fear tries to pull you back. And you smile and say, not today. Step in faith so loud that doubt can't even be heard anymore. Declare something so wildly beautiful over your life that even your old self doesn't recognize you anymore. You are not becoming someone new. You are remembering someone eternal. You are not building from scratch. You are building from spirit. That is the true foundation. That is the true fortress. That is the true fortune. So breathe, smile, speak with power, and remember life is not testing you, it's responding to you. The question is not, can I have this? The question is, will I accept what is already mine? Say it with me now. I now demand my divine inheritance. I no longer play small. I am audacious in my faith, bold in my words, and unshakable in my knowing. What is mine now. And so it is. And now we arrive at the sixth moment in this journey. The part where something begins to crack wide open within you. Not because the outside world changed dramatically overnight, but because you did. You started to realize your good is not something you beg for. It's something you expect, with spiritual confidence. Spiritual audacity is not arrogance, it is alignment. And if the divine has written your name on a blessing, why would you whisper when you're meant to declare? This is the part where you stop hoping and start knowing. You stop shrinking to fit into rooms never meant for your light, and you start building your own. You're not here to play small. You're here to reflect the magnitude of a generous universe. And yes, that dream, that goal, that desire you once thought was too much. That's your compass, that's your sacred instruction. You don't receive ideas by accident. So stop asking, who am I to want this? And start saying, who am I not to walk in what God already assigned to me? You see, in this part of the challenge, we go even deeper. We're not just acting, as if, anymore. We're living it. You already are that version of yourself who receives. Walk like it. Talk like it. Spend like it, not recklessly, but faithfully. Give like it, not foolishly, but boldly. Because what you release in faith comes back multiplied. And if fear tries to whisper, what if you lose it? You respond with a shout. What if it's proof I trust God to restore it? That's spiritual audacity. You are now being called to give in faith. Maybe it's $1. Maybe it's your time. Maybe it's your energy, freely offered to someone who needs it. But do it without fear, without expecting a timeline. The moment you give with belief instead of doubt, you activate a divine law that never fails. You open your hand, and heaven opens its storehouse. You're not giving to get, you're giving because you already received. So let this moment mark your turning point. Let this day be the day you walked in the energy of already done. Let your soul repeat this loop until it becomes your language. What I seek is seeking me. What I release in faith returns pressed down, shaken together, and overflowing. I am a magnet for divine miracles, not someday, but today. Now tag a friend, speak your decree again, give in faith, and live in expectation. You are not just in a challenge, you are in a shift. This is your spiritual audacity, and you are finally standing in it. This is the moment where the inner shift becomes irreversible. You're no longer tiptoeing around your blessings. You're not politely waiting in line for your miracle, hoping someone ahead of you changes their mind. No. You're stepping forward boldly, knowing the universe has a seat with your name on it. This is the audacity Florence Scovel Shinn taught us to claim. The boldness to say, what is mine by divine right cannot be taken from me. It cannot be delayed, and it cannot miss me. Say that aloud, it cannot miss me. Spiritual audacity is not arrogance. It's not entitlement. It's the sacred trust that what is divinely ordained for you cannot be blocked. Not by people, not by circumstance, not even by your past. That's what you must remember when doubt comes knocking. Your past cannot disqualify what the divine has declared. At this stage of the journey, you're being called to live as if, no, as already. There's a difference. As if still carries hesitation, like you're playing pretend. But, as already, comes from the deep, rooted knowing that your good is already here. It may not be visible, but it's inevitable. So you speak like it. You walk like it. You give like it. You expect like it. You pray not to persuade God, but to align with what's already being delivered. And let's talk about that act of giving. This is where so many hold back. What if I give and it doesn't return, they ask. But friend, if you believe in loss, you have not yet tasted the fullness of divine law. The law is not based on numbers. It's based on faith. You don't give out of your bank account. You give out of your belief account. And what you release in belief returns tenfold, always, inevitably, undeniably. Florence said, no man can lose what is rightfully his by divine right. So why would you grip tightly to what you fear losing, when the act of letting go in faith activates more than your mind can imagine? When you give from a place of trust, whether it's money, time, energy, kindness, encouragement, you're not depleting yourself. You're placing a demand on the spiritual supply chain. You are circulating your good, and it will return multiplied, Repeat this with me. I give in faith, not fear. I release with joy, not panic. I trust the law that governs all return. My supply is limitless. I am connected to the source, and the source is never empty. Do you feel that shift? This is not about doing something risky. It's about doing something real. Your spiritual audacity must be backed with movement. You don't just write the affirmation. You walk it. You don't just believe you are supported. You act like it. If you say you are ready for a new level, you must also behave as if you belong there, because you do. That is the vibration where miracles land. That is the energy of answered prayer. And here's a truth I want you to loop until it becomes your default setting. There is no delay in divine mind. What I am asking for is already on the way. My faith is the signal. My expectation is the receiver. This is where you build spiritual stamina, not emotional hype, not shallow positivity, but quiet, grounded, persistent knowing. And I'll tell you this, things may still look the same on the outside for a while, but the ground is moving beneath you. The path is being cleared even when you can't see the broom. There are divine rearrangements happening right now, because you had the audacity to believe. That relationship, it's being restored. That opportunity, it's circling back in better form. That money, it's flowing in from unexpected sources. That healing, it's already begun inside you. Why? Because you chose to show up in the energy of already mine. You chose faith over fear. You chose to give even when it looked like you couldn't. That kind of boldness doesn't go unnoticed. Heaven responds to expectation. The universe bends to belief. So I invite you now to act, give, speak, declare, encourage someone else. Circulate the good, plant the seed, because the field is fertile and your harvest cannot be withheld. Make a move that proves you're not just talking about faith. You're living it. And when you do, something starts to echo in your favor. Doors that were sealed begin to crack. Conversations begin to turn. The right people begin to recognize your name. The shift is subtle, until suddenly, it isn't. Suddenly, it's all around you. But it started with your spiritual audacity. Repeat this with me now, let it loop in your soul. I am bold in my belief. I am fearless in my giving. I am confident in my claiming. What is mine flows to me with grace, speed, and certainty. I walk in faith. I live in trust. I expect my good, and it arrives right on time. And don't forget, your voice is power. Your words are the wand. Your heart is the container. So speak it again. Share it with someone. Be the proof. Be the light. This is your spiritual challenge. But more than that, it's your sacred becoming. And now we arrive at the closing moment of this challenge. But truly, it's only the beginning. Because spiritual audacity is not something you try for 3 days, and then tuck away in a drawer. No, it's a way of life. A sacred stand you take every single morning, before the world tells you what you can't have, and you look right back at life and say, but my good is already mine. You've dared to name what you want, not what's polite, not what's realistic, but what your soul aches for when you're alone with God. And in doing so, you've cracked open the invisible supply that was always circling you, just waiting for a demand bold enough to receive it. This is not about arrogance. Oh no, this is about divine confidence, holy certainty, that you were never meant to play small, never meant to shrink into shadows, never meant to beg for crumbs when the banquet of heaven had your name on the seat from the beginning. You've practiced acting as if. Not faking it, but faithing it, stepping into the vibration of what's already done in the spiritual realm, even before it touches the material. You researched the house. You stood in your blessing before it arrived, and the universe took notice. And perhaps the most powerful, the giving in faith. That moment where you gave not because you had abundance, but because you knew you were abundance. That $1, that one kind word, that one generous gesture, it was a signal, a sacred message that said, I trust the return. I trust the source. And let me tell you, nothing rearranges your life faster than that. Not frantic hustle, not desperate worry, but quiet, joyful trust paired with bold, consistent demand. Florence Scovel Shinn once said, you must act as if you have already received. And some of you, for the first time in your life, did just that. And now, the game begins for real. Will you keep walking in this frequency, or will you step back into the old limitations that felt safe but suffocating? Will you demand your divine inheritance, or whisper your way through the rest of your life? Because I promise you this, heaven has never asked you to be timid. Heaven has never rewarded those who bury their talents, hide their gifts, silence their vision. Heaven blesses the bold. So be bold in your belief, be daring in your declarations, be audacious in your asking. This is your moment to stop shrinking and start shining. Use the hashtag, tag the friend. Be the light that gives someone else permission. Because someone out there is watching you, waiting to see if it's possible to break the old story. And when they see you walk boldly into your good, they'll start walking too. Don't stop now, you've started the fire. Keep it burning, keep affirming, keep showing up like it's already yours. Because it is.